How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. We have Tom Lee discussing the market. Right now, we have the market falling down a little bit. And to be clear, this is going to be a shorter video. I'll film a longer one later, but the NASDAQ down almost 4% here today. S&P 500 down pretty significantly too. And this is actually after good inflation data. We have Bitcoin falling as well. I want to talk about that very briefly. If you don't mind, hit subscribe so you can see future videos just like this. If you want to trade crypto, there are links underneath the video. CoinW is a partner of the channel, and when you sign up with them, you can get access to free professional traders. There's also a link to Blowfin and to WEEX and to BTCC, and there's a link to BitUniX as well. I'm working with them on a new campaign for 20% deposit bonuses, or up to 20% deposit bonuses, so check out these underneath. We just got CPI. CPI came in for March. The month over month was negative 0.1% versus the forecast of 0.1%. The inflation year over year was 2.4% versus the forecast of 2.6%. Core was 0.1% versus 0.3%. So you can see inflation came in lower than expected across the board. We have PPI tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. But CPI and core CPI came in much lower than expected, yet the market is down. Now, why is that? Some people are wondering, like, is this market rigged? Why do we have Bitcoin falling? Why do we have stocks falling when we just got more good news? Well, the market was already down a little bit before the CPI data came in. And I think it's just people realizing we moved up 12% on the NASDAQ yesterday. Right? So maybe it's just some people taking some profits. Maybe it was some people that got squeezed that had to cover their shares. Maybe it's just a little bit of a cool off, right? Not the worst thing in the world to have a little bit more time to buy good companies, to buy good cryptos. We can see how quickly the market can change. If we reach a deal with China tomorrow, the market's going to soar upward. So, I don't think this is the worst thing in the world. Let's see what Tom Lee says about the tariffs, though.
Let's bring in Fundstrat Head of Research and CNBC contributor Tom Lee. Tom, were you getting nervous here with what the market was doing? I know you expected things to go a lot better for the major indices this year.
Yeah, John, I was getting very nervous. I think the biggest sign was I was going to bed every night, checking futures, reading everything, and wondering if the market would open limit down. So I was getting very nervous. But of course, now this is a really big positive fundamental development.
So why aren't you still nervous, given the velocity at which things continue to change? How do you find signal in the noise? How encouraging is it that after saying that they weren't going to negotiate, the administration is now negotiating? After saying they weren't watching Wall Street's reaction, they really do seem to have been watching the market?
Yeah, I'm going to have to make some guesses here, but I think one of the positives is that I think the White House exercised the Navarro put, meaning they are now inserting Bessent more into the negotiating process, which I think is less of a hardline view. When I look at what this means for the next few months, I do think because of the tariffs and they've been dialed down, companies now have what's effectively probation. So if they cut guidance or they don't show guidance, markets can look through it because they know it's an adjustment process. So I think it's taking the pressure valve of investors panicking on earnings. I also think it's been really good news to see Tesla rally because, it's been our view that Tesla's more or less the exhibit A for what kind of bounce can ensue, because remember, Tesla got hit the hardest first, and actually it's been holding some important levels. And then I think there are things really, as we look towards the next few quarters or a few months, to be positive about, because there is the tax deal. And, at the end of the day, there was a lot of technical damage, but a lot got repaired. So, I do think this was an important day.
Okay, so interesting. Tom Lee saying that he was nervous. Weird, right? Tom Lee gets a lot of credit for calling the market right over the last year or two. But obviously he's been wrong about some things. He's been wrong about small caps. He's been wrong about this recent market dip. And then saying that he's nervous. I kind of get that from someone that's very long the market, that's not very hedged. But I was more excited. I had a hard time sleeping because I was excited, not because I was nervous that the futures were down. Now, of course, I realize that there could be some nervousness, and that's probably actually okay to be a little bit nervous about international trade relations, but it's not like you can really do anything, right? So I'm one of those people that if I can't control something, I'm not nervous about it. It will be what it will be, and you just make the best decision with what you know. But yeah, Tom Lee, actually nervous about the market. Interesting stuff. Like I said, I'll come with another video later, just keeping this one nice and short. The White House saying inflation's down, we're making good deals, and we're going to bring rates down. There are some rumors that Trump is trying to fire Jerome Powell, like trying to get approval to fire Jerome Powell. We'll see what happens. Again, if you want to trade crypto, there are links underneath the video. There's a link to the Patreon as well. If you guys want, there is a link to the Bitcoin conference. The ticket prices are going up, I think, tomorrow. So check out the link underneath for 10% off. See you in the next one.